The Ball Pit Regal update dropped for free on January 25th, 2026, and with it came 2 brand new characters, 8 new balls, 3 new passives, and 1 long-awaited game mode. Here is how to unlock everything in the Ball Pit Regal update. And look, I'm reading a script for a game called Ball Pit. I'm going to be saying balls a lot. Let's try to be adults about this. Let's start with the most important part of the update, Endless Mode. A long-requested feature, Endless Mode allows players to keep a run going long after the final boss has been slain. To unlock Endless Mode, you'll need to find the blueprint for the Adventurers Guild. Once built, you'll be able to play the new mode on any level where the boss has been beaten. Once the final boss of the stage is cleared, you'll get the option to keep the run going. From here, you'll see a depth meter showing you how far you've gotten. Just note that this mode is no joke. It'll start off somewhat slow, giving you a challenge that matches what you faced right before you took on the final boss, but as you delve deeper into the pit, you'll not only start seeing repeats of bosses, but sometimes bosses will even double up. Make sure you're cranking out those fusions and evolutions. You're gonna need some pretty strong balls to make it far. My favorite thing about Ball Pit has always been unlocking new characters to see their attack styles and quirks. The Regal update gives us access to 2 brand new villagers, the Falconer and The Carouser. To unlock these, you'll need to re-enter stages that are displaying the undiscovered blueprint message, and of course, be sure to pick up the blueprint during the stage once it drops. The Falconry Hut will grant you access to, you guessed it, the Falconer. The Falconer is almost the opposite of the Cohabitants, in that he shoots 2 balls from each side of the screen from his Falcon buddies. While the Falcons are stationary, other than being able to move up and down the screen, the reticle can still move about, allowing you to shoot in a cross shape for maximum bounciness. The Falconer is a pretty fun character to play, especially if you prioritize having a lot of balls to fire. The Party House structure gives you access to the Carouser, which is so far the closest we've gotten to a melee character in Ball Pit. The Carouser's main attribute is that he has a chance for the returning balls to briefly orbit around the character. To make the most of this ability, you need to be in the enemy's face so the balls can damage them, as being far away will prevent the orbiting balls from hitting the enemies. Once again, he's a pretty fun villager to play and gets really powerful when you pair him with passives like Spiked Collar, which deals damage when first entering an enemy's melee range, and the Wretched Onion, which continuously deals damage to nearby enemies. 8 new ball types expand the arsenal players can fuse and build around. For this section, I will just be explaining what the balls do without going too in-depth with the actual numbers themselves, since each ball can be upgraded, which will make those numbers go higher. Also, just remember that each ball needs to be level 3 before it can be evolved. Made by evolving a Burn and Dark ball, the Banished Flame adds 1 stack of Dark Flame on hit for 2 seconds, with a max of 6 stacks. Dark Flame deals damage per stack, and when it goes out, it hits an enemy with a burst of damage. Evolving an Egg Sack and Burn Ball will create a Firework. The Firework will fire off and hit an enemy, causing it to explode into 3 to 6 sparks, which add burn stacks to random enemies on the field. For a small cost, this is a great ball for big groups of enemies. The Stone Ball doesn't require any evolutions or fusions, it's just a newly added ball. It hits for 300% of its initial damage, but each enemy hit erodes the ball, causing it to do 40% less damage per hit, with a minimum of 50%. The Stone Ball is also used to create the new Steel evolution. The product of an Iron Ball and the new Stone Ball, instead of eroding, the Steel Ball gets stronger as it hits. It deals double damage at first, but moves 50% slower than a normal ball. Its damage is increased by 10% each time it hits an enemy, up to a maximum of 300%. Perfect for bouncing. Evolving a Stone and Burn Ball will grant you a Brimstone. Not too different from fusing a Burn and Poison Ball, the Brimstone applies 1 stack of Burn and Poison every second to all enemies within a 2-tile radius, with a maximum of 4 stacks. The big improvement is the AoE radius, allowing you to hit multiple enemies at once. Combining a Stone and an Earthquake Ball will grant you Landslide, which destroys itself upon hitting an enemy but creates an AoE effect that stays on the field for 5 seconds. It deals damage to all enemies within a 2-tile radius, and it looks awesome. Created by evolving a Steel Ball with a laser, the The laser cutter constantly emits a laser out in front of it. This means the laser starts damaging the enemy long before hitting it. For builds that prioritize baby balls, the catapult, which is a stone and egg sack combined, will launch 3 to 5 stone baby balls every 1.5 seconds, though they are destroyed after hitting an enemy. Great for pelting a boss or bigger foes. Balls aren't the only new things on the field. The Regal update also adds 3 new passives. Don't forget, evolution passives are created the same way ball evolutions are, by leveling up passives to level 3 and then combining them. The Iron Onesie is the only new passive that doesn't need to be evolved. You'll want to pick this up if your build is centered around shooting baby balls, as it allows balls to deal 0.5% more damage for every baby ball on the field. It's great when paired with egg sacs, brood mother balls, and the ethereal cloak passive, as those balls and passives will result in the Iron Onesie providing a ton of bonuses. Created by evolving a hand fan with a turret, this passive fires off a random level 1 unevolved special ball every 8 seconds, even if you don't possess the ball. As you can see on the screen, the enemies are taking laser damage, and yet there is no laser in my arsenal. Evolving this passive will lower the cooldown and increase the level of the ball it shoots. By far the hardest thing to create in the Regal update, the Deadeye's Impaler increases your critical hit chance by 5%, and any critical hits against non-boss enemies results in an instant kill. Maxing this out increases the crit chance to 10%. The major downside is that it's clearly meant for endless mode, given the complexity of its creation. By the time it's put together, you're likely at the end of your current stage. It requires you to combine a Deadeye's Cross with a Gracious Impaler. To create a Deadeye's Cross, you must combine all 4 critical hit passives, the 4 daggers. Even with upgraded passive capacity, this means constantly banishing and refreshing until you get all 4 daggers. If you accidentally take 2 non-dagger passives, you won't have enough room to finish the cross. Once the cross is done, you need to create the Gracious Amulet, using a Reacher's Spear and the Deadeye's Amulet. Level both the Gracious Amulet and Deadeye's Cross to level 3 to finally obtain the Deadeye's Impaler. It's a great passive, but you'll really need to work for it. And that is everything new in the Regal update for Ball Pit. For every ball combination, make sure to head on over to our Ball Pit guide on IGN.com. And for everything else gaming, stick with IGN.